webinar on Counter-Strike with Research to Win. I, Assistant Professor Amna Hussain, Faculty of Department of BCom and Coordinator of the Research, Innovation, Incubation and the IPR Cell of Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College, welcomes you all to the webinar. A warm welcome to our Principal of Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College, Dr. Sanjay Mishra Sir, a man of wisdom and our guiding light. Welcome to the webinar, sir.
Thank you.
I would request Principal Sir to speak a few words before I introduce our guest speaker for the day.
Thank you very much, Amna. First of all, good afternoon to the resource person of today's webinar. The topic which has been given around by the resource person itself. The topic is counter strike with research and the use around of various types of research methodologies. What Madam is going to, give us the details about this thing. Madam is from Royal College and she is heading around the MCOM department. She is a coordinator for MCOM as well as she is the head around of the research department over at Royal College with vast experience. She is over here on this particular virtual platform of Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College. I welcome you on behalf of the students as well as the faculty members. We also have amongst us all the other faculty members around of various departments of Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College on the Zoom platform. And we also have the students of the degree college on the YouTube platform. So first of all, warm welcome to each and everyone. Basically, when we talk about what exactly is research, now Madam is going to give us the brief about what what exactly is research. Madam is going to give us the brief about of everything. But in general, if I talk about what is research, it is a logical as well as a systematic search for something new. See, when I talk about research, so what we are doing is we are searching something new, something useful, some kind of innovative thought, some kind of innovative idea, some kind of innovative concepts. All this thing, nothing just comes around in the research word itself. Okay, so it's a logical and systematic search for something new. When I talk about research, generally people do understand that research is confined to only science and technology. There is a certain type of myth about research that the students around from commerce, from management department, from the accountancy department, they are nothing to do around with the research and other things. But my dear students, research is having a vast area and various disciplines. Research can be done around in the language, in literature, in history, in sociology, in psychology, in commerce, in management. Every damn subject, whatever you talk about, there can be research around in different subjects. A lot of research methodology. I am very much sure that Madam is going to give the brief. The information what you collect around. See, I should just inform around Madam about that last year in the month of May, 15th of May, we have organized a national conference and we got around 104 papers from different faculty members as well as few of the papers were from the HODs, one or two papers were there around from the principal of the various colleges and so. In that, we also had 17 papers from the students and we were having around a special track around for the students. We have also trained our own college students and near about 10 students from our college has also written the papers, and the peer committee was also very much happy and satisfied as the way the research was been written by the student, the papers have been written by the student. They were been guided, few of the guidance was given by me and other faculty members, they guided around the students. So basically I understand that in today's world each and every institute needs to train around this future citizens of our country, more around with the research, more with innovation and more with new type of thoughts and ideas. And today's webinar over here with Madam on this particular platform also focuses on all these things. I will not take much of the time. I know, yes, Madam is there over here to guide the students as well as the faculty members. Not taking much of the time. Thank you very much. Over to you, Amna.
Thank you, Principal Sir. Sir has always been our, the support that we require, the guidance that comes from Sir's side. It is only possible for us to, arrange such kind of webinars and events because of all the support that we receive from our respected principal, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, putting it in the words of Neil Armstrong, research is creating new knowledge. It is creative, systematic work which we undertake to increase the stock of knowledge. It involves the collection, the organization, and analysis of information. We increase understanding of any topic and issue only because of doing a lot of research in that particular topic. A research project may be an expansion on a maybe past work in that particular field, or maybe we are trying to, research, as Principal Sir correctly said, that there is a topic that is already existing, but we are trying to search more about that particular topic to test the validity of instrument, to understand the procedure, to understand the experiment, and to research it may replicate the elements of a prior project, or maybe we are trying to find out something new. Now, to give us an insight into the world of research, we have with us the guest speaker for the webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Sanchita Datta Madam. Dr. Sanchita Ma'am is the Associate Professor at Royal College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Mira Road East. She is the HOD for the Department of Commerce and also the coordinator for MCOM. Madam has 20 plus years of teaching experience in the degree section and also the PG section. Ma'am has conducted various conferences, seminars, webinars at state level, national level, and international level as well, and published several research papers. Words would definitely fall short if I need to summarize it in my words. Teaching has always been her passion, and today on this virtual platform, I take this as an opportunity and gives me immense joy and pride that I have my very own professor as the guest speaker for the day. Thank you very much to all. I welcome you, ma'am, to this webinar. Over to you, Sanchita, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. Thank you, Sanjay sir. It's been a real pleasure to be with all of you. Though the college I haven't been to, but virtually I think a lot of interaction took place when we were into this cluster college group of setting papers and all that. It's been real pleasure working with Munira ma'am, working with Sai ma'am, a lot of people that I've worked with but not met them really. So it was really good. And thank you so much again for inviting me for this talk. Research has always been my passion, and trying to get young minds into research has always been what I targeted. So let's get started with it. Now, before I start, wanted to know, how do we handle the question and answer part?
Madam, for the question and answer part, Amna will be taking around those particular question and answer questions, whatever the students are posting on the YouTube comment box.
Okay.
Okay, and from there the questions will be posted over here, or she will nothing and just directly inform you about that this is what the question that the students have posted around on the YouTube, and accordingly then you can answer around those particular questions.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll complete my presentation and then we will wait for any questions. Okay, I hope that's okay with the students as well. So I'll just share my screen and then we'll go ahead with it. Okay. Now, the topic for the college for today's webinar is Counter Strike with Research to Win. I deliberately chose this topic. Could have been simply research methodology, but I know how it goes with young students, young children. Counter Strike is a game which you love, right? CSGO, you people play a lot of the CSGO and all that. I have young children at home who keep telling me. So Counter Strike with research, let us see how we can win. Research is something most of us do not like much. Okay, the term research is teachers hovering on our head and trying to read a lot of books and all that. Let's make it simply simple. Okay, simply simple. Just let's simplify it and understand what is research and why should we do research? Why is research suddenly become the most important thing in the world? Why is everyone talking about research? So when I say research, what comes to our mind is test tubes, maybe a microscope or a white lab coat. So is research all of this or only these? Research is all of this and also more than this. Thus, research is what a virologist does. Corona, can you see the virus around? So they are testing out, they are finding out what new and what can help us fight it. The vaccination came out from these labs. There was a lot of research taking place. A physicist who works with mechanics to bring out a new technology for us. We also have a number of chemists working for us, developing new medicines and new things in life. But is that all what research is? No. Research can also be done with books. Research can also be conducted with survey. You can just sit at home. Today you have a virtual library opening up to you. You can check all these books on a particular topic and still conduct research. You can sit at home and probably have Google Docs prepared, pass these Google forms to people, share a lot of information from people, and this information, which will be more or less homogeneous in nature, you try to work on it and derive certain conclusions. That is also research. So research need not be in a laboratory. So a combination of labs, working in labs, a combination of research, working with documents, everything with questions in mind integrates to make us more knowledgeable. It suffices that query in our mind, what next, what more? And that exactly what a research project is all about for us to understand. So research is gaining knowledge, learning more, learning something new. It can either be an existing line of research, which we call as empirical research, where we get more information about it, or we try to discover something new, some innovative practices where commerce and art students are concerned. Where science people are concerned, they are going to innovate into a new product, bring out some new medicine for us, maybe a new technology for us. But where commerce and arts is concerned, we do not do anything, we do majorly. We bring out new policies, bring out new systems, bring out new administrations. All these are also new research projects which is coming up. So we have a lot of queries in our mind, and this query is satisfied with research. Whether we are talking about research like invention of certain medicines for us, maybe procuring a new drug for a treatment, or it can be something intangible in the form of understanding an already archived text. That means an already existing material is there. Let us take an example. We have writings of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We have Mahabharata written. Now we want to know more. So we try to maybe, read the same, analyze the other texts and speak about it. Same lies with Quran, same lies with the Bible. We read more and we may have to find more and get more information about it. Where commerce students are concerned, reading a book of Philip Kotler gives you more insights. You try to make an application into our society and see whether Philip Kotler's principle works in our country too. It does. So you bring out new insights into the already existing policy. So these are intangible form of research that we get. But many people still presume that research is only a scientific method. Like you see a product, you see a material, and you have a query in your mind. What is this? You have ample queries in your mind. What could it be? Okay. Now, the first step in research always is you try to observe and then you ask question. This question is nothing but framing a hypothesis about that particular material. For example, if you see, this is a golden type of a liquid, a yellow liquidish or a solidified form of a material. Okay, so now the query in our mind is we are just observing. The first thing that comes to our mind is if this is a metal, is this gold, or is it brass, or it is something which is of no use? So we derive a hypothesis. Is it gold? or is it copper, or is it aluminium, or it is brass, a combination of both. So we are making a hypothesis. Okay, you try to presume something before you start your research is called as a hypothesis. Now, once the hypothesis collected, you start working on the material with the characteristics of gold that is aware. So you collect data and you produce the results. These results help us to make a conclusion. So we had a product, we observed the product, we tried to understand the characteristics of the product and develop a hypothesis. Then we had results. When we experimented with this product, we checked it, and then we come to a conclusion with the result that, okay, this is gold and it is not copper. So the hypothesis was it gold? Was it copper? Was it brass? Was it a combination? So I reject all and I accept one hypothesis. So one presumption is accepted and all others are rejected. That comes to an end of what you started. So the query that you had in mind, if you observe my screen, from those two eyes having a question in their mind to the final circle that is there on your screen is the result. It suffices this query that is there in our mind. Now your work doesn't end as a researcher here. You have to publish this data. You have to share it with fellow researchers. You all are research scholars. What Sanjay sir just said is, he said that there are many of you who do good research work and even publish papers. So you have to publish a paper so that others can know about what work you have done. So probably when you do a master's degree, like you do a PG program, you have a thesis to be submitted. You have a project report to be submitted. So publishing is important when others read it and they also ask questions about it. Because someone may find you are contradicting a particular statement. Someone may find that your research is saying something against the natural laws, or your research findings may not be apt to what the others are saying. So when you share, you get other questions. So you can solve these questions also. You can re-verify what you have done and finally complete your research. So you observe and verify these questions and others accept your research. If at all your research is able to answer all these questions of fellow researchers and scholars, then fine. Your research is complete. That means you have brought something new. So all these steps put together gives you the satisfaction of bringing a new innovative thought in your mind, a new innovative policy, something new which the others did not know about, a knowledge which you can claim that you have brought. So research gives you this immense pleasure of doing something good to mankind and also trying to solve a particular problem. So right from the title of the research or the problem that we derive, we are actually trying to solve problems and solve queries. So by doing so, you get this inner satisfaction that you have brought something new. But again, we say, then is research only a scientific method? No. Now let us see. Sorry. Now just let us see, other than science, can there be a research in social studies? Definitely yes. In social studies, what we have is something very intangible in our hands. So we read something and it might give us a new idea, or we have a problem and we try to find a solution to the problem. So it starts with a problem, or it starts with something that you have read. So you read further to know more. So you have to get back to certain archivable text that is there. That is, you have to visit your libraries and find out some literary scholars who have written some texts over a period of time. And then we try to develop questions in our mind. For example, as a commerce teacher, when I am teaching commerce or marketing, I have a number of questions in my mind, especially during the pandemic. Did all the marketing strategies work successfully during the pandemic? Did it not work? If it did not work, how did we satisfy demand in the market? How did we satisfy needs in the market? What type of marketing mix did we have? So one particular problem in mind or one particular thought that you have read somewhere, you try to put it together to a particular time period and you compare it, and you have a number or numerous questions that is asked in your mind. Now, what you do is you try to find out similar text related to the same. So you read some more information that is gathered. Now I read a lot of marketing journals, and then I get back to, again, Philip Kotler is the father of modern marketing, get back to his books, and I find out in case of a serious situation or in case of a situation which we had not thought of, just like the pandemic, how does marketing take place? So I try to get hypothesis by reading text, other text, maybe drawing similarities or trying to contradict whatever is there. So comparison of the strategies or comparison of the text that I have from the library, I start comparing it with people or other researchers' work. At the same time, I may conduct a survey and find out what people in the market today think about. And then I put the two things. Can you see the blue marks and the pink marks, the red mark or the pink marks? So I try to compare the two, my survey and what I got from the text. Something, the blue one is called the primary data, which I have collected directly with the help of a survey method. Not always is it expected that you do a survey. You can simply observe people and also make a conclusion whether a particular problem is based on a cause and effect relationship or not. So it's a comparison. Okay, if I get time, I'll just tell you a little story of how research can also be done simply by observing, no need of survey. So then I compare what I have collected. Blue part is what I have collected, the primary data, and the red part is what I have read in different texts and journals. I compare the two and then I get results, due to which I say whatever problem I started with, I have got a particular answer to the questions with the help of my primary and the secondary data. After I have got answers, next process is sharing it with fellow research scholars, asking people if they feel that this research is good, the paper is good, or is there a query related to it. So when you publish your paper, you may get queries, you may get someone who wants to verify what you have done, or even you get some more data to verify this information from somewhere else. So a lot, and today with the help of this virtual library or the internet, the entire world is open up to you. Let me tell you, a research scholar, suppose you're doing a research on a particular topic and there's a research scholar who is in America and has written a lovely research paper on it, and you get to read only the abstract. If you want to read the entire paper, you'll have to pay for it. Now, if you don't want to pay for it, then you will have to actually ask the researcher to share the paper. You have to send an email. Believe me, a good researcher loves to share his information and will never charge you for it. So there are sites through which you can get a lot of secondary data which can help you in your research. But only thing is, you have to acknowledge them. Ethics, here comes ethics. I have spoken to Amna about if we can arrange one talk on research and ethics. This is very important again, because internet is opening up the entire world to be my library. I just cannot copy paste people's information and say it is my work. It is very unethical. And if you're caught doing it, you will have dire circumstances, because those of you who have studied IPR will know what could go wrong with you. Hence, remember, publish your paper, but if at all you have taken any help from any other researcher, scholar, or his publication, give him due credit for the work that is done. Even that person feels happy that he's acknowledged for, and you can save yourself from a lot of problem which can happen in the future. Now, there are many queries in your mind, many questions that keep coming to our mind every day. Then how can I get into research? How should I do research? Every time I have to do this entire process of research? Not necessary. You can get associated with research by being a part also of a group which is into research. In fact, your teachers would be always putting you into group projects initially. So you become one out of all the group members and you start learning it from the senior members. The senior members, they already know, they must have already done the project work, or you can pair up with one of your teacher and also do a research work where the teacher guides you, you help the teacher for collecting information, etc. So you can also get associated with research work and understand and learn research. You can collect survey, do the field work, and slowly you will learn how you can make big changes in life. Science students can maybe come out with an invention of a new species that is there, or maybe a medical problem can be solved with it, or maybe you can bring out commerce and arts people can bring out new philosophies that are required in life to lead a good and successful and happy, to have a good society. All this thing can associate us with a research. So remember, research is not difficult. Only thing we should know that research is meant for all of us. It is meant for us. It is meant for you. This entire PPT that I created, I give credits to the animator and the producer because I've taken all my pics that you could see on the PPT from YouTube videos. Now, this was all about what is research. If time permits, I would also like to take an example and show you how to do research and how research can be simple. Now, if time permits, I will stop my screen share and ask your professor if time permits, and then only I will go with the next presentation. Yes, Amna, do we have time? Amna? Okay, so what we'll do is, looks like I still have time because no one is there to actually interrupt me. I will take you to a quick overview of another PPT of mine for research. So this will really help you to understand how to do research. This is actual method that we are going to do or undertake for conducting a research. So when I say, do you know what research is? Many of you may now say, yes, I know what research is. Sure. It is when you feel, it is when you copy down facts from certain books or websites, or you put all of them together. So it is just simply copying according to you or according to most of us. I think I'm right. If I ask students, this is what most of them say, because when teachers give you project work, what you do is you go on the internet, collect data from here, put everything together and show it to your teacher as the project is done. So basically, many of us believe that it is only copying down facts from books and websites and putting them all together. No, it is not. It is definitely not. Research is a process where you share and you learn both. You learn from what others have done. You remember the previous PPT that I showed you? I spoke about how we can use the entire world as a library and find out if anyone else has worked on the same topic of research, and compare my work with that person's work and then derive conclusions. I also told you that we collect primary data and compare it with the others who have worked on this particular data, and then we try to reach to certain conclusions. So research is both a learning process, as well as when you are publishing, what you're doing is you are also sharing. So research is learning and sharing. Well, now let's pick up a subject that you would like to learn more about. Now, because you all are into a virtual platform, maybe you will not be able to answer me. So what I'll do is, on your behalf, I will give certain answers and then I will lead you to winning, counter strike. We will win the game, what is called as research. So let us go on. So first we need a subject which we want to learn. Okay. Now, the thought that must be coming to your mind is, how do I do this? How? Now, the first thing that you have to do is explore your topic. First is, how do I find a topic and how to explore a topic? If I say that, it is very simple for the research guide or a teacher to tell, find a problem. I remember when I was teaching your professors, and I used to tell them, like, think of a problem in life और शुरू हो जाओ उस पे research करने के लिए. So I came up with such problems in life where I really felt that it cannot be a research related to commerce. This is more in terms of society. So exploring the topic, and then, if you're not interested in that particular topic, you come to a dead end. You cannot go further. So first thing that you need to do is you need to explore topic के बारे में ढूंढो which topic interests. You start learning about the topic through books, websites, and videos. So for example, you love sports. I think most of the youngsters here love sports, and therefore I have taken a virtual sport as the name of my talk today. So all of you love sports. So you pick up a game that is your choice. Maybe you pick up cricket, you pick up football. And because this PPT is picked up from images of US, I have something which is different, not football, but some other game. And don't take down any notes. Simply read and explore the area of your interest. For example, I'm very much interested in marketing. So given to me a choice, I read more of marketing than I read HR. Though I have done my specialization in HR, I don't read much of HR, but I read more of marketing. So try to read the area of your subject, but don't take down notes, because you're at an initial stage. You still don't know what topic you have chosen. You are only exploring. Remember this. The next step is, now we have to get a little more specific. You said sports. Sports में बहुत सारे sports आते हैं. अभी हमारे our team has won so many Olympic medals and comes. No doubt when I say so many, people only thinking, Miss, only 7 we got. We could have got more. We will get. We are at the first step. So we all love sports. Suddenly, archery has become the sports that people want to get into. Fencing is something people are. Though fencing was always there in India, we didn't get much of a wider coverage for it. Hockey has been a national sport, but we didn't get much of a coverage for hockey. So let us understand. Let us get a little more specific. So to get specific in sports, now this person whom you can see on my screen decides that he'll choose baseball. Okay. So he picks up baseball and he keeps exploring things about baseball. First, he thought of sports. Then he thought of all the possible sports that he can think of. And then he decides, okay, I'll go with baseball. Now, baseball is a huge funda. So now what are the different aspects through baseball he can do? He can study a legendary player of baseball. He can study his favorite team of baseball. He can find out baseball around the world. He can find out invention of the game, because we only know, okay, ye football hai, this game I love, cricket I love. How did it start? Origin. Okay, so invention of the game he can find out. Rules that change through history. Because see, a lot of rules have changed in cricket, A lot of rules have changed in cricketing also. From the time when, especially when I was in school, to what cricket I see today is pretty different. So how the rules change through history, the minor leagues that we have in case of baseball, baseball traditions that are followed. There are typical traditions, you know, which people follow, and baseball stadiums all over the world. Now, this is from the Powtoons that I have taken from the internet, these images. So this person decides, I'll choose this one. He forgets all the others and decides, I'm going to choose baseball around the world. So out of all the topics that were there in your mind, one, you chose specific baseball. Under baseball also, there were so many subtopics. Now you are slowly narrowing down your approach. Aap kam kar rahe ho, chote kar rahe ho us approach. And you come down on a topic of baseball around the world. Terrific topic. Next you need to do is create some specific research questions about this topic, only pertaining to baseball around the world, right? That was your topic, baseball around the world. So now you decide on this topic, what could be the queries in your mind? What do you find out? We will try to put these queries. Now this is going to take some thought. So you have to have a retrospect in mind कि baseball के बारे में या फिर football के बारे में. Let us forget baseball and think in terms of football. What do I know about football? If I want to say football around the world or cricket around the world, what things I know and what things I don't know. So whatever you don't know, you try to jot it. So let us see what he thought of. He has, where is baseball a major sport? See, baseball is not played in India. Asians do not much play baseball. How did it get started there? Do they have a different, do they have a different rule than that in US if it is played around the world? Okay. What US players started in these countries? Okay. That means the origin is from the US for baseball. How did it go to the other countries and how did it develop in the other countries? Now, after you have decided on your questions, now you're ready to gather the information. It's time that now you have to start taking notes, because we had not taken notes at all. Collect facts, images to help answer the research questions. So we start doing certain amount of scratching certain work because now we want answers to our question. Now when I say gather, now this gathering of information is of two types. If you would have been on a live audience, I would have asked you, what are these two types of data that I was talking about? If you remember the previous PPT that I have used, one was primary data and the other was secondary data. One I collected through survey forms and one I collected through the secondary data. So I will get two types of information with me, which will help me answer the questions. Now here you need to remember a few things. You should refer to secondary data, but always take down these notes in your own words. Don't use the words of the researcher. Then it becomes copy pasting, which is not allowed, which is unethical. Write bullet phrases instead of whole sentences. You read the paragraph. I've always told my students, you read from the internet, you read from the textbooks, but don't take down things as it is. Put bullets, phrases. When your teacher teaches also, I'm sure they teach you with bullets, pointers. And they expect you to take down these pointers. ताकि आप exam में you don't utter what the teacher has uttered, because it's very difficult to remember what she or he has said. Put it in your own words. Nothing goes wrong there. If you have understood, you can definitely write it on your own. Use quotation marks whenever you are copying an exact quote. Now, when you are defining and all that, you cannot say, I have defined this, right? You have to write it accordingly. So, whenever there are important quotes, you have to write it as it is. There, you have to take down in quotation marks. And you have to write down also from where you have taken So record all your sources and bibliography. Who has written, where it was published. There's a lot of things that you need to remember when you're copying. Instead, if you start taking down the notes in your own words, no, all these problems are solved. Now, do you have all the information gathered which you needed? If your answer is yes, now you ask your teacher what options you have to demonstrate your research. Now, for you, you have a teacher in front of you. Later in life, if you start conducting research, if you want a degree, then you will get a guide who is going to help you. So you ask that person, how does that person want you to present your research findings? If you're in college, your teacher will tell you how they want you to present your research in a paper, a slideshow, a poster, a video, a skit, a web page, a board game, animation, presentation, a quiz show. How do they want you to conduct this particular research? For this step, your notes are raw materials. Remember, you can use this to build something new. So you have collected the data. Now you are just going to present it in front of people. For example, I'm using a metaphor. If I want to make lime juice, lemon is what I need. So for your research project, what you need is notes. If I have to bake a cake, I need the ingredients. Same way, the notes are going to help you for making your research project. Same way, a sand is required to build a sand castle. So these were all metaphors which I have used. So without taking down notes or without putting your physical and mental effort into research, getting a good research output is practically impossible. So you can start, research is nothing that you need high level intellect brains to do it. No. What you need is an acute desire to know more. This curiosity that is there in your mind, this curious mind that is there in all of us, God has given us curious mind. We want to know what's happening in our neighbor's house. We want to know what my friend is doing right now. We are curious. This curiosity we need to channelize in a manner that we start getting proper results. And this result can work out to be our research project. Now, after you have decided how the notes are going to be presented, then the step 5 is it's time to share what you have created. I've been always hammering on you have to publish your information, you have to share the data that you have collected, because if you do not share and people do not know what you have done, to ye kaun sa research hai? So, teach your classmates what you have learned about baseball, what you have learned about the research topics, how you tried to complete this research. Speak to them, share with people. Now, in your case, you will share with your classmates by giving a presentation or undertaking a quiz or preparing project report. So, share it. When the sharing is over, it's step to reflect. See, now I'm taking this particular talk. I will definitely expecting a lot of questions from you. So when I'm reflecting, when you reflect कि मिसने क्या बोला है, you get a lot of queries in your mind. And these queries will help you to even improvise further. So think about the entire research projects and all the projects that came out of it, and you can really be a successful researcher. Consider these questions. What were the easiest and the hardest part of your research? When did you learn the most? Because why are we reflecting? Because we are not going to stop at one research. Today you are going to do a small research maybe for your FC, or you're going to do a small research helping your teacher conduct her MRP maybe, or you are doing master's degree. For that you need a particular research. So next time again you feel like doing a particular research, you need to have a retrospect. What was the easiest thing and the hardest thing? When did you learn the most of it? What was good about it? Where a lot of teaching came up? What helped you more? For example, I'll share with you my personal experience when I was doing research. I did on banking, and you won't believe I got an entire research paper very closely connected to my research topic. I could have downloaded the entire research paper and do it, but Yes, the time frame was different. I had done on banks. The banks, one particular bank's name differed. Otherwise, everything was same. But you won't believe me. It was of no use to me because a lot of changes had to be done in that. But it became like a benchmark for me. I kept it in front of me and then I started processing my information with the help of that research. So when I have to do research, I've always told students that literature review that you do is very, very important. You get certain, enlightenment whenever you try to do a literature review. Then you understand, did your final product answer of all your research questions? Did it answer to all your research questions? What did you learn? Will you do it in a different manner next time when you do it, or you're going to follow the same process? Maybe once you do survey method and then next time you feel that the survey method was too taxing. So you do not want the survey method, you want the observation method and all that. And speaking of next time, always remember these 6 steps that we have studied. Exploring the topic, identify a specific topic where your interest lies. That is very important. Gather the material, gather information, create. If you're in scientific research, you're going to create something new, modify the existing part. If you're into social science research, you're going to create a thought, you're going to create a new understanding. Then you need to share. The 5th part is share, and always reflect, because reflecting gives you new insights to the next research. That's all. And if you remember, I was talking to you about a particular research method. It's not always survey that helps us. Sometimes only secondary data also can give you a lot of insights to complete your research. So that could be another research methodology for you to use. And another method is observation. Let us understand. I'll just give you a small little story. There was a shop in front of a municipal school. You know how municipal schools are. Whenever the municipal school have a tiffin, these children rush out. They buy certain things from the hawkers and the stall that was set up just in front of their school. So there was only one shop in front of this municipal schools, and whenever the recess time came, this shop was like, totally flooded with students. And there were many students who did not get time to even eat the snacks that they purchased, because by the time they bought the snacks, the tiffin recess time was over. So one man observed this plight and decided that if I open a shop, see, I'm a commerce teacher, so I'm giving you an example of a business. He decided, if I open up a shop out here in this vicinity, it is definitely going to be profitable, because then the students will come to even my shop and the market can be shared between both the shopkeepers. So he opened up the shop. And to his, as predicted, he found that many children came to his shop also. So now everyone was happy, because all the children got what they wanted within the time limit, and both the shopkeepers were earning profit. Till after a few days, the second shopkeeper observed that the number of people coming to his shop were reducing. He was a little surprised. He didn't know what had happened, because he had exactly the same things what the first shopkeeper has. But again, children were going only to the first shopkeeper. He didn't understand what happened. So he decided that he is going to research it. He is going to research this problem. Research means survey conduct. बच्चों से survey form नहीं भरा सकते. So he decided he'll just observe why the children are going to the first shopkeeper. So he sees that day one, he sees that the children go to the first shopkeeper. Few people come to his shop, and he sees what is going on. The first shopkeeper tries, whenever the child asks for chocolates, he picks up few chocolates and puts it on the weighing scale. The weighing scale shows the chocolates are less. He again picks up second time. Third time again he picks up, weighs it, bundles it and gives it to the child. Now he sees what is happening in his shop. Child asks for the chocolate. The person who works in his shop lifts up a lot of chocolate together. The weighing scale shows that the chocolates are more. So what he does is, he removes the chocolate from the weighing scale and puts it back into the bottle. Now, a child psychology. The child is not understanding that the weight and the measures are same in both the shop. The child going to the first shopkeeper thinks that this uncle is giving me more and more and more. 3 times he is giving me. And the second shopkeeper uncle is lifting from what he has given me. वो कम कर रहे हैं और मुझे दे. So according to child psychology, he realizes that this could be the reason that people are not coming to his shop. So next time he tried to do the other way around and his problem was solved. He had a lot of children coming to him, lot of students flocking to him. So he didn't conduct any survey, he didn't conduct a scientific experiment. Simply by observing people's behavior, he decided what the problem was that he was facing. And you can find solutions to this. So that's all from my side about what is research and how to do research in case of a topic is given to you. So if you have questions, then I can answer those questions. Yes, Amna, I'm done.
Yes,
So do you have questions?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yeah. I'll just ask you a few questions that we have received from the side of the students. Number one, ma'am, this is a very common question. I would just not say that the question comes from the side of the student, but even when we are making a research paper, just like sir said, we have a conference also in the month of May. So hypothesis becomes an issue. So is it compulsory that all the papers should include hypothesis, or is it okay that a research paper can be worked out without hypothesis as well?
See, if you try to understand a problem and you're trying to derive a solution to that problem, there is always a presumption that can be made. So with a presumption, your research paper becomes more systematic and achieving results becomes easy. Not that you cannot publish a research paper with a hypothesis, without a hypothesis. You can do it. But for good research results, the step has to be followed with a hypothesis. With a hypothesis, things become even simpler and even understanding becomes easy.
Okay, ma'am, I get that. Another question, this is, again, a very simplified one, but then whenever we are picking up primary data, okay, the confusion begins with the number of questions that, is there any ideal number of questions for a primary data, like a questionnaire set, or is it, based on your own methodology that you pick up any number of questions?
There is no hard and fast rule as to you should have only this many questions. There is no limitation marked by anyone because research is according to the research. Okay, but if you are collecting data from others, if the survey is to be conducted, you have to think, put yourself, be very empathetic towards people who are going to answer your research question. Who has the time to sit for hours together and fill your research paper? Therefore, one, always try to have close-ended questions so your analysis also becomes easy. Yes, but in case of social sciences, in certain places it becomes difficult. But try to keep close-ended questions more, so analysis is better. And keep questions, try to, fix questions in such a manner that 15 to 20 questions may, even at PhD level, okay, some people have 50 questions also. But I think we should be settling for 15 to 20 questions, not more than that. And if I'm talking about a student's research at college level, I think 10 questions should be more than enough.
Okay, ma'am, 10 questions. Okay, I remember one more point. This is with regards to when I was studying masters under you and you taught us the research methodology. There was one link that you always taught us, ma'am, how authenticate is it still now. So when you frame the objectives, okay, of your research, you always told us to connect each objective to a particular question, right? So that means, if I've got 10 questions, so is it justify I've got 10 objectives as well, ma'am?
Correct. But what I did with some students is,
Yeah.
they couldn't think of objectives, but they could
Correct.
think of questions.
Yeah.
So I converted questions to objectives. But an ideal way is, first you think why you are doing this.
Correct.
So first decide objectives. And the simplest thing is, for every objective, you have to find answers to all your objectives.
Yes.
So the simplest thing that you can do is, for every objective, you frame a question. So things becomes more simplified in this manner.
Okay, ma'am, one last question now. Plagiarism is an issue that we, even when TY students are actually coming down to make research projects in the black book one, plagiarism is an issue that is coming up. Plus, when we took up students for conference, and even when the professors are participating, ma'am, it is very difficult to make people understand that, how much are you supposed to take from the secondary data and how much words can you make up of your own. So, ma'am, what's the limit of the plagiarism? And according to you, how can we just stop this issue of plagiarism, which is still existing very much?
Okay. Now, one is, this is a very vast topic if we go to discuss plagiarism, because it comes under the IPR norms, okay? And plagiarism, one thing, there cannot be a researcher who says that I have written everything on my own. There is no one who could say I have written my entire research paper on my own. We need help, we need data from others, we need a lot of secondary data as well. But how can we make it more authentic is, you have to understand what you have read, put that data in your own words. So one, plagiarism is solved out. Next, we have studied what is paraphrasing. Areas where you think if you insert some words of your own, things could get a little difficult for you. Instead, what you can do is change, no 4 words should come constant. Okay, you try to change and work with it. Always, before you submit a research paper, do a plagiarism check on the software. I know the software is very expensive. Instead, there are these softwares that are easily available on the internet, like small tools, etc., where 1000 words are copied, and for that 1000 word, you get a report, individual report. So you have to take the pains of selecting 1000 words. Certain places where you think that you cannot just build up castles in the air, and you are using someone's work, cite that work. You have studied citations, okay? I'm sure when a student also is doing research, the teacher guide should know that citations are important and reference and bibliographies are must. If not, then we can definitely be into the trap. See, today IPR and these plagiarism things are just improving in our country. There will be a time when everywhere we have to quote, like for example, I should have quoted the link of YouTube video which I have used. Instead, I just gave the names of the creators. So the publisher's name is equally important. Today, things are easy and simple for us because we are not very conscious. But otherwise, it is very important that we name people whose work we have cited.
Yes, ma'am. And one last thing that, whenever we are focusing on the type of research, how do I, just justify what research I am using in my research work? For example, there are people who are confused that I am into experimental research, but when the outcomes are out, maybe it is some other kind of research. So do we need to focus on one kind of research, or can we,
Not necessarily.
just pick up 2, 3 together in one particular work?
Not necessarily. Your research cannot be named as only experimental research or because an experimental research can also be providing us with an empirical data today, because everything is going to enhance knowledge. So need not say that my research is only a basic research or an applied research. No, you need not name your research in that manner.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
I hope I was able to
Yes,
suffice
ma'am.
to all the questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all the insight that you gave out about the research. This would definitely be helpful to all the students, and we hope that the students get motivated and they start publishing their papers in different kind of journals as well, because all the introduction and all the data that you provided us was really helpful. And it is always great to hear from you, ma'am. I'm really obliged that you accepted our invitation and gave us your precious time. Now, I would
Thank you.
like to request Professor Munira Sayyed, Madam, our BCom coordinator, to propose the official vote of thanks. Over to you, Munira,
Mira.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, Amna ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. I, Assistant Professor Munira Syed, Coordinator of Department of Commerce, would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to our Principal, Dr. Sanjay Mishra sir, for his support and guidance. I would also like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Sanchita Datta ma'am, HOD of Commerce and MCOM at Royal College of Arts, Commerce and Science, for giving our students and faculties our precious time and guiding them towards the most prominent reason to engage in the research, as the whole process of research open new doors of learning. We hope this session proves to be rewarding, as the research component allows for a broader education experience whereby students and faculties are able to explore the effects of applying new thought processes through studying and testing. I would also like to thank Assistant Professor Amna Hussain ma'am, Coordinator of Research, Innovation, Incubation and IPR Cell, for conducting this informative session. With this, we mark an end to today's webinar. All the students are required to fill the feedback form shared in the chat box. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Munira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
I would
ma'am.
like to read the feedback as well.
I have. I'll share it, ma'am. I'll share it.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll leave. Yeah.